everyone? Welcome to Ding Dang Garage. My name's John, and today we are going to be working on my 1968 Plymouth VIP. Having some brake issues with the car. It first started with the junky master cylinder that is not getting any fluid to the rear of the car, so we just capped that off and been running on front brakes for a while, just driving up and down the road around the neighborhood and stuff like that. And this front brake has begun to hang on us and getting hot, so we're going to tear into that and figure out why that is. The hood's off because I was messing around. I had this cowl piece off, messing with the wipers and all that, trying to get that going. But that's to figure out what's up with this master cylinder, why it isn't getting any fluid to the rear end. We bench bled it and had it working, put it on the car, went to go bleed it, and there was no fluid going to the back. So unhooked the lines, tried to bench bleed it again here on the car, and no fluid was coming out of that front line right there, which goes to the back. So we're gonna figure out why that's going on, and we'll figure out why this is hanging. So if you guys would like to stick around, we're going to figure all that out as soon as I get the tools out and get everything organized and get going. Let's see what we got. Still pretty tight though, ain't it? We can get loose enough to pull that drum off there. That'd be a nice thing. If I can get that loose enough to pull that drum off. Oh. Seems better, but not. It's got one little big peephole to see through. Flip this little adjuster. And then you smash your finger because you're going against the block. Still don't understand why it got tight like that, unless it just adjusted itself out. I don't know whether to take it on or off, or leave it on there. This could pop that cap off. See what it does in there. New grease. Everything's tight. Let me get a paper towel. There, needle nose pliers. Let's see what we. Cause you get grease all over you, all that and stuff and things, and get it on your clothes. Then your wife fusses that you ain't got no clean clothes because you wore it all in the shop. probably ought to go get a socket and wrench for this, but I didn't. I guess you could say. Well, somebody sure did put the grease in. I wonder who that was. Probably me. I always get too much of it. I don't know if there is too much grease, but sometimes I feel like there's too much. Let's see here. Oh, yep, there it is. Don't want to lose that. Get that. Yep, there that is. I said earlier I couldn't remember if the drum came off with the spindle or the separate or whatever with the studs, but then I remembered that it does come off all one piece, hub and all. Now there's that. Don't seem, looks all new. Everything looks good. I mean, get you in here to see. It's hard to see, the light's terrible around here. It's got new springs, wheel cylinders, shoes, all hardware around in there. I was worried that that new wheel cylinder was stuck, but it seemed to adjust out of it, so I'll double check on that wheel cylinder some more. Okay, now we got the wheel back on and all that adjusted out and back together, and let's get to work on this thing right here. I think I may pull them lines back off again and try another thing of bleeding it, but we'll see if we can get these lines loose or not. They should come off at new. Okay, now let's get this brake master cylinder off. I went ahead and took 2 bolts loose that's up under the dash, because they're a pain to get to and there's no room and it'd just be dark and you wouldn't be able to see anything, and it involved a lot of cussing, because a car this big you think would have more room in it, but it don't. So let's get this took off. Now there's 4 bolts, everybody knows, they go here and there. And it's a lot easier to break your lines loose first before you take it loose, because then you're trying to break something loose that flops around. Which, yep, these come out pretty easy because it was, you know, fairly new. Just bad out of the box. Here's my little block off that I put in it. Have to save that fitting. Have to reflare the lines too. We'll get this took off and then we'll bleed out the new one. Yep, there we go. I'm probably going to make a big mess because this has brake fluid inside of it still. I really don't like these new kind that's got this bolt on the top, and it's aggravating. It's a lot easier. The old one, you just flip that wire off top of it and it comes off. Probably should have done this before I got started, but oh well. I don't know why it's being so stubborn. Probably got some vacuum on it. Yeah, it does. Oh, why is it stuck so hard? There we go. And yeah, it's got fluid in it. We'll shove some paper towels down in there to soak that up. We'll catch paper towel fire next to the heater. Whew. Been good, wasn't it? So there's nothing coming out of the front one here, which the front one goes to the back of the car. I'm not sure why. Probably operator error. Not my luck. But well, it took some prying, but I got it out. It was hung on that little rubber boot that's inside there that goes on the shaft. It's just stayed on there, but it came off. But that would explain why my brakes wasn't working in the rear, because this is not supposed to come out. It's supposed to stay in there. So, I know, well, that's that, I guess. I guess we'll work on, I got this set up here to bench blade it. You just put fluid in it, use a screwdriver or something, push in and out on this piston that's out of the other one now laying on the bench, and it pushes fluid through these hoses back down in there. You just do it until all the bubbles are gone and it's just complete fluid going through. So we will get started on that. It ain't nothing real fun to watch, but that's what we're going to do right now. Take some brake fluid and fill it up. You can do this on the car too. You just hook it up like you normally would, and hook these up instead of your brake lines, and you can bleed the master cylinder by using the brake pedal on the car if you wanted to. Alrighty. I'll finish this up and get it all buttoned up and ready. And okay, now we're going to try to flare this line back out, because it's the one I have blocked off. I may redo the other one. It don't look too pretty. The main thing you want to remember when you're flaring brake lines or fuel lines or anything, is put your fitting on the line before you flare it. Because the best flare you'll ever make, you won't have the fitting put on it. But it's easy. You just get your little tool, slide it on there. We'll do a double flare, so you get your little adapter piece, and you want just enough line sticking out the same thickness as your little flare tool. So about this much. I don't know if you can see it or not, 'cause you're over there. You tighten it down, double check it. It's a lot easier when your line is not on the car. Because you got more room to work. You can put this little piece in a vise, and it's just a lot easier. Crank it down so it don't slip on you. This is a steel line. Some people use copper line, but this is a big car, and I don't know exactly. I don't want brake line busting out because I use copper when I slam on the brakes real hard. Let's see if we get this tightened down a little bit more. There we go. You gotta be a little careful with these little things, because if they break, well then you're just out of luck, because a lot of times you gotta buy a whole nother set. Unless you got a hard freight tool. Then you go back and tell them broke and they just give you another one. You just line this little thing up. Figure out what you did with your handle to it. And just slowly crank down on it to do your first flare. Because we're going to double flare this one. Make sure it don't leak. And hope it didn't push the line back through the clamp. Hopefully it just flared it right out like we want to. The little bubble flare the first time, what it looks like. And it did. You'll see here how it flared the first time. It don't kind of mushrooms it out. It's like, well, if you take this clamp off, it'll look like a bubble. But now we're going to take this piece again. You stick that pointy end down in there, and when you tighten it down, it'll invert the flare there and make your connection here. If I can get it to line up. This is much easier when you're flaring this stuff out of the car. This one you don't have to get real crazy. Just pull it down until it stops moving usually. That should do it. Now if it all worked right. Yeah, if it all worked right, we'll have a pretty little double flare with the fitting put on. Number one rule, put your fitting on before you flare it. Put your fitting on. There ain't nothing worse than having to cut your flare back off to put your fitting back on. There. And if you see here, it's a nice little flare. It comes right up there. Pull up on your master cylinder or brake line fitting, whatever it is, and seal up so it won't leak. I'm gonna go ahead and reflare that other one because it don't look too healthy. And then we'll get that master cylinder bolted on. Oh, about lost it. Losing them things are not, they're not nice. Tighten that down. You know what? I might better cut that off and start a whole new end all over it again, because I just don't like the way it looks. It wasn't leaking on the other one, but that don't mean it won't leak here. I'll get my little cutter. It's over here. I spend more time looking for tools than I do working with the tools down here, it seems like sometimes. I put some pretty big loops in these when I made the new brake line. Was it last winter? But so I should have enough to play with here to redo it. Just twist and tighten, twist and tighten. Ta-da! Probably gonna have to fitting. Don't forget your fitting. Straighten this out just a little bit. Don't want to rebend it around. We need it when we put it mesh center on. Fitting. Fitting is on. Ready? Just repeat what we did on the other one. Little piece. There's a lot of different flaring tools out there you can get, some fancy ones and expensive ones, and I guess if you're main living in a garage was nothing but brakes, it'd probably be worth buying the fancy one. But I think it's kind of like a gun-like thing. It smashes it down. But if you just do them occasionally, like we do, you can get by with just taking your time and using these. Okay, here we are. We got this bled out on the bench over there. Now, we'll get it bolted up and see if we can find somebody to help me bleed this thing out. that's it, other than going underneath. That's pretty much it. Like I said, just gotta go under with these studs and nuts on those, and it's cramped, dark, you won't be able to see anything in there. And then all that's left is bleeding brakes, and I'll have to get somebody to come out here and help me do that. So that'll probably do it for this one. Just a little bit of what I do out here and piddle around playing. But next time, in the next video, probably working on a 74 Comet. It's got some fuel line issues, and that's probably going to be the next one. So for those of you that stuck around to the end, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.